I'm Nicole Papaioannou Lugara from Your Instructional Designer, and I'm here today with a very special guest, Maile Signorotti. And usually I just throw it over to our special guest, as you know, but before I do that, I really want to say Maile has been a very important part of this Learning Pro Intro series, and without her, it would not be possible. It would not come to you every week. She is there working behind the scenes to make sure everything is edited and looks great and sounds great. So as you watch this, just know this is the person who helps make, or I should go this way, who helps make all the magic happen. So Maile, can you tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
Of course. Hello, everyone. I'm Maile Signorotti, Hawaiian Italian name. Very weird, I know. I am currently a graduate student at Southern Illinois University of Edwardsville, and I am pursuing a master's degree in instructional design and performance improvement. So I am studying literally to be in this field with all of you wonderful professionals.
How did you decide, right? This is a pretty uncommon path, I think, still for people to get formal education in. So how did
Yeah.
you figure out that this is sort of the degree path you wanted to follow?
So yeah, I've been unlike or very much like every other professional in this field, I feel like. I have a very weird, wacky route that led me here. I actually finished a master's degree in flute performance. My idea coming out of undergrad was that I really wanted to be an orchestra flutist. I was working very hard in grad school to do that. About halfway through my first graduate degree, I just realized that doing the professional music thing was just not going to be for me. It didn't feel like the right fit. And after coming back to Illinois from Kentucky, where I went to grad school, I tried a bunch of different things. I tried teaching flute to see if that was something that was for me, and I enjoyed it. Still didn't feel like the lifelong thing for me. So I kept searching. I ended up at this job at Southern Illinois University of Edwardsville and happened to go to an open house, a grad school open house. I was just searching for something, someone to talk to, some kind of career to latch onto. And I ran into my program director, Dave Knowlton, there. Quirky guy, love him. He's absolutely brilliant. And we had a really good conversation about like where my life had been getting to there and different possibilities of things I was interested in. I'm interested in being creative. I'm interested in teaching people because I loved it, but I didn't know how to integrate that because I tried flute lessons and it wasn't for me. And he said, you know, you might try this, instructional design. And I know what you're thinking. He's like, you probably have never heard of it, but I'm a music guy myself. He said, just give it a shot. And so I joined the program just to kind of see what it was all about. I didn't know if I was going to finish it at the time. I was just kind of like, oh, I'll try a class or two. And I fell in love with it. And now here I am almost a year into my program and I'm digging for more. I'm meeting new people and learning new things. This internship has probably been the most meaningful to me. It's been introducing me to many professionals in the field, learning a lot of really cool things from a lot of great variety of experienced people in learning and development.
Well, selfishly, I'm really happy you feel that way because I love working with you.
Oh,
But I
thanks.
think, not for me, for the people who are watching, because they might be in this position where they're thinking about these grad programs.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to know a little bit about yours. Is there something that you just absolutely have loved about your program?
Yes, I would say I've really loved this program because it has taught me a different way of being creative. It's taught a lot of different processes that like I probably would have never come across on my own stuff. Dave is very particular in teaching you different techniques and processes of how to think through something or how to get past brain block when you're writing, how to move through the different parts of designing instruction for whichever audience you want. And I find it's really unique in that way. It was completely different from my other experience in grad school as a flutist. It feels more like the entire program as a whole feels more practicum based. Even if you're taking just a class or a different class at a different topic, they're very particular in like getting you like classroom sandbox kind of experiences that you can really tie into like what you want to do with your life.
That's awesome. And also, yes, very different from my my master's program experience. Things were definitely not sandbox.
Yes.
You were very much in the field. Is there anything that you would say like grad school isn't for you because you found this to be very true? I'm totally asking you off the cuff questions, so apologies for giving you no prep time on that one.
No worries. That's what a grad student is for, right?
Right, yes, exactly.
Let's see. What was the question? It was
So now that you've been through kind of the ringer, is there anything that you would say, okay, this kind of grad program is not for you if ... What would that be?
I'd say a grad program, a graduate degree is not for you if you're not willing to be open-minded. It's an entirely different experience if you're willing to open your mind. So my graduate experience, of course, is different from probably Nicole's or anyone else's. It is particular to you, though. So if you want to get a master's degree in this field, find the program that fits with you and that will motivate you to finish and get the experience that you want or you want to specialize in this field. So it's not going to work out for you if you're closed-minded and have just like a very specific pinpoint kind of idea of how your experience is going to be, because most likely it's not going to match up. Hitting a bullseye like that is very hard. And you'll probably just really struggle, have a lot of disappointment, and like struggle to finish, which is probably the biggest faux pas, I think, is if you start a graduate program, it would be heartbreaking to not finish and have to start over from scratch. So
I agree.
If you're interested in getting a graduate degree, find something that works for you. Go see the professors and make sure there's someone that you want to study with. Make sure that the experiences of the students in the program, go talk to them. If they are having experiences that sound good to you, then that is the program that's for you.
I happen to do those things in terms of finding the right program, but I really could have used your advice, and I probably should have talked to some students before I enrolled. I think that's fantastic advice for anyone looking for grad school. So thank you for sharing that. So what's next for you? Like, you've gone through this program, you're starting to get to your end of days there, possibly in the next few months to the year. What is it that like you think is the next chapter?
So that's the big old question. I
know.
So now I know I want to be in learning and design. I know I want to be an instructional designer of some sort. I still don't really know exactly what kind of instructional design I want to do, though, because you can be the instructional designer, you can be the person who makes the big roadmap for curricula or instruction or training, or you could be an e-learning developer, so you actually take that roadmap and make it happen. And I'm just not sure exactly what I want to do still, because I still find it all fascinating. I don't feel like I know enough yet. So for me, I'm probably going to continue in my career by sandboxing. Now I've created a term. I'm going to continue sandboxing and experimenting either with internships or contractual jobs to figure out what I want to do, because I still am having fun playing around with all of this and learning more from experienced professionals. So yeah, that's probably the next step for me, is to go figure it out, figure what I want to do.
Well, regardless of which path or maybe the blend of the paths that you take, you're going to be great at it.
Thank you.
So before I let you go, my one big question to all of my guests is, if you had one piece of advice for folks who are new to the field or thinking about getting into the field, what would that be? What would you tell those people?
I would say my piece of advice to those in the field would be to play with others. So connect with as many people as you like possibly can get in touch with. It doesn't have to necessarily even be in the learning and development field, because you can learn from a lot of different people, and actually talking to people from like a ton of different fields. So like voice acting, cartoonists. I've met so many interesting people now that I've gotten into this. You can learn a lot more about yourself the more people you connect with, and have fascinating, fun conversations along the way. I would say go out there and network with people. Go have fun, talk to others.
Awesome. Yeah, I agree. And I think early in your career, you don't always know that that's okay to do, or that like
Oh, yeah.
you don't always have to have a sales pitch and a business card. Actually, maybe you shouldn't ever have a sales pitch, but that's a whole other ball game. So I think, yeah, I like that, especially encouraging people to not just talk to other people who do what you do.
Yes.
And if you want to be a freelancer, that's really important, because honestly, the people who are hiring you are not the people doing the same exact job as you usually.
Yes, I think it's so important to connect with people who know what you're doing and you can relate to them on that colleague level. But I think it's also really important to have like just a variety of perspectives and friends to rely on if you ever get stuck. If you find yourself in a little box and you can't get out of that box, talking to people who are totally different from you can really be a good point to lead you out of your little box and more into a bubble and make the world.
We're going to be bubbling and sandboxing.
Yes.
I like it. Right. Well, is there anything else that you want to share before I wrap things up with this fantastic interview?
Gosh, I'd say if you're interested in learning more about my particular graduate program or my experiences, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, or you can reach out to my program director. I'd be happy to share that information with you. If you reach out to me on LinkedIn, Maile Signorotti, and you'll see all of that info in the description box. But yeah, we'd be happy to let you know more about that. And there are plenty of people on LinkedIn who can speak to other experiences too, if that's not your thing.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Maile. I'm so glad that you could not just be behind the scenes, but one of these interviews. I think your perspective as a graduate student and someone who has kind of seen the professional world, seen the grad school world, even outside of ID, and all of these different perspectives is really valuable. And I'm sure there's tons of people who are considering, do I go back to school to learn this? Do I leave my field? I think they're going to find, like I said, this really valuable.
Yes.
And for the folks who are watching from home or your office, your phone, wherever you are right now, Maile's information is in the description box below. And if you're interested in connecting with her on LinkedIn or finding her, that's a good place to start.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Aloha.